what I experienced because of a prayer community, and why it affects us all. Everything I describe here is based on my personal experience. I have documents and recordings that confirm every fact I mention. What are prayer communities? In recent decades, so-called prayer communities have emerged in Poland. Despite the name, they are not religious communities. These are groups that seek out people who are susceptible to suggestion, aiming to gain their trust and often by influencing their families, take control of their property. Their actions have nothing to do with spirituality. They rely on basic psychological techniques, such as subvocalization, the mental repetition of the voice of the person leading the prayer. This is a form of conditioning that has been known for centuries and is now reinforced by technology, such as text-to-speech synthesizers that can mimic a leader's voice and influence a victim's behavior. Before such tools existed, susceptible individuals would listen to the voice of a priest or a nun. Some, unaware of the psychological mechanisms at play, referred to their inner voice as God the Father or Holy Mother Mary. In recent years, as public awareness of these techniques has grown, the Catholic Church in Poland has removed all prayer groups from its structure. Why this affects me and every European citizen. A member of my family joined such a group. For over 20 years, there has been a constant struggle to prevent the entire family estate from being handed over to this group. From my perspective, this is not a family conflict, it is abuse. Anyone who tries to justify the actions of these people becomes complicit. I will not describe the entire 2 decades. I will show what I have documented since February 2022. After the courts dismissed all lawsuits initiated by the group, its members began acting aggressively toward me. I was attacked in my own apartment. They threatened to kill me and hide my body. I recorded the incident and reported it to the local police officer. No action was taken. Later, they tried to discredit my testimony by suggesting I had a mental illness. They claimed my recordings were unreliable. In September 2022, they filed a motion to strip me of the right to manage my property. Their goal was to seize my apartment and file a lawsuit in my name, seeking compensation for alleged violations of civil rights by a religious prosecutor from Krakow. After 2 years, the court dismissed the motion entirely. During that time, I was harassed. Members of the community tried in various ways to prove that I was mentally ill, even though, as they themselves admitted, they had no knowledge of any diagnosis. What some might see as a symptom of illness, such as speaking to a statue, others might view as a sign of spirituality. In countries where the World Health Organization defines mental illness, my behavior is not considered a disorder. The court confirmed this in its ruling. How these groups gain support and attack victims. Leaders of such groups know how to present their actions as harmless while discrediting their victims. They often suggest that the victim is to blame for being too weak, incapable, or for not handling things. In my case, the legal counsel representing the group in court used several manipulative tactics. In the motion to take away my property, she included, supposedly by mistake, a quote from a commercial book written by a judge. The book had nothing to do with my situation, but by citing it, she was able to insert terms like drug addict and alcoholic into the legal document without being held accountable. Without referencing someone else's text, she would not have been allowed to use or imply such language. Just 2 minutes into the first hearing, the same lawyer referred to me in court as P, suggesting I was homosexual. She then implied that in Poland, people like me can have everything taken from them and later be accidentally killed with medication, without anyone being held responsible. In Poland, simply suggesting that someone is homosexual is often enough for others, even strangers, to side with the perpetrators and attack the victim. It doesn't matter whether the suggestion is true, it only needs to be made. At the next hearing, the court apologized for a mistake in the name of the medication listed in the documents. According to my medical records, administering that specific substance could have caused my immediate death. The lawyer's behavior was so outrageous that the court allowed me to make the recording of the hearing public. Why this is not just my problem. Since February 2022, I have repeatedly tried to report crimes committed by members of the community. The police often refused to accept my reports or made it difficult to file them. In one case, a police officer told me, "It's not worth the paper." The precinct commander confirmed this in a letter to the prosecutor. There were also cases where the content of my statements was altered in the official records, which I was also able to prove. In the building where I live, there are 2 apartments that once belonged to deceased Polish citizens. Today, women are being forced into prostitution there. A taxi driver who lives in the same building brings clients to them. Groups like the prayer community parody religion, claiming to pray to the Virgin Mary. In reality, they use religion as a cover. Victims of these groups receive no help. For some reason, people who are trapped by such sects are ignored, even by institutions that are supposed to protect them. In the next sections, I will describe in detail, based on my own documented evidence, how the prayer community operates, how it intimidates people, how it seizes property, and how it eliminates those who try to defend themselves. Everyday actions meant to discredit me. The first actions taken by members of the prayer community involved an employee of the Polish Post. In 2022, religious items and medical advice were being offered and sold at the post office by individuals with no medical education, but who identified as devout believers. One postal worker refused to give me correspondence related to a scheduled meeting with local officials and the district police officer. I received the letter only after the meeting had already taken place. I documented further incidents at the post office and published them, not only on Facebook but also on other platforms to ensure the Polish Post's responses and my recordings wouldn't be lost. At the post office, where I am forced to collect court correspondence, only 2 employees, to my knowledge, are affiliated with the prayer community. All recordings and written evidence of missing mail, delivery errors, and opened court letters involve only these 2 individuals. Letters from the court that were handled by other staff arrived without any issues. Another issue involved the district police officer, who decided he could interpret the law on his own, using court rulings from unrelated cases. He claimed that since he was allowed to leave notices under a car windshield, he could also save on postage by leaving summonses under the doormat at my apartment door. In both cases, the intention was to provoke me into reacting in a way that, to outsiders unaware of the context, might seem strange or unstable. This could then be used as justification to have me committed to a psychiatric hospital and take my apartment. Anyone would feel anger if a person affiliated with the prayer community opened their court mail and, while holding it in their hands, shamelessly claimed, "No, you opened it." I recorded this behavior. I published several such recordings from the post office. The district officer's family cleans an apartment that now operates as an hourly hotel, offering short-term rentals with a room attendant. Many people might suspect that the officer was trying to create a situation where I would search the building for a note he had supposedly left. Maybe the hotel cleaner, his relative, removed it. Maybe I was supposed to search the trash for it. In both scenarios, these individuals abused their positions and later tried to discredit my reports by claiming I was unreliable. The court rejected the motion to declare me legally incapacitated, stating that I was able to clearly explain what was on the recordings, while the people accusing me said things that contradicted the actual audio. This pattern continued with an employee of a nearby electronics store who is connected to one of these individuals. It's the closest discount store in the area. I purchased a device there that was adapted for my disability. When I opened the box, I found a completely different product inside. Normally, a customer who pays for something receives what they paid for. Not in my case. To this day, I have neither the correct device nor a refund. The store employee keeps delaying their response. These may seem like small, everyday issues, but imagine how you'd feel if a court case depended on a reply to an email, a phone call, or a piece of mail. In Poland, there is a legal fiction of delivery. It doesn't matter what actually happened. I documented the actions of these 3 individuals in great detail. I reported them to the National Police Headquarters and to the head of the post office. I also published a recording in which the store employee speaks about his personal beliefs and categorizes me among hated people, claiming that simply by existing, I deserve to be treated this way.